I'm coming to you today with a bit of breaking news. There's actually a few things going on at Tesla. We're going to cover that here tonight. So, first and foremost, we do have a price change, although it is not great because it's an increase. It's actually limited to just one trim of one model, which is great news. However, I did not report on the price change on the Model X that we had just last week, so I'll cover that in today's video as well. In addition, actually something kind of exciting. We're seeing a new color from Tesla, and it's pretty cool. So we'll cover all of that here in today's video. So make sure you stick around to the end. We'll unpack all of that right now. So first and foremost, we actually have a price change, and it is this time the Model Y. We've had quite a bit of changes in prices this year, and surprisingly, this is actually an increase. We're seeing a $500 increase in the long-range Model Y, which is nothing too crazy. It doesn't really make a lot of sense when you look at the inventory available. So I'm going to cover that here in a moment, but really just one change here, $48,990 now for the Model Y, just a $500 increase. But this is something that you should probably start to pay attention to because we're here towards the end of October. We only have 2 more months left in this year. And up here, this $7,500 tax credit is at risk for some models at Tesla. The Model 3 is definitely at risk, and potentially some of or all the Model Y is also at risk with this change. There's a good chance that demand is going to pick up here towards the end of the year, and people are going to rush to try to get this $7,500 before the end of the year. And that's going to be a problem for those of you who have been waiting. That new lease price now on the long range Model Y, $478, and this is after the changes we just had recently where Tesla is now incentivizing these leases and bringing these prices down. So that's pretty low, and you're looking still at $399 for the rear-wheel drive Model Y at $43,990. So I think it's $4,500 down. Yeah, 36 months, 10,000 miles. So that's the situation there, but I want to take you over to the Model S and the Model X because we actually have a new paint color, and this is pretty cool actually. This is a new color that we have seen recently. Indeed, the Stealth Gray appears to be making its way to North America, which is pretty cool. And if you recall, the Stealth Gray debuted with the new refresh Model 3, the Highland Model 3, in Europe just last month. So this is a new color that we're seeing in Europe, and now it looks like it's making its way over to North America. Now do note this is only available in the Model X and the Model S. This is not available in the Y3, and there's no indication that it will or will not come to the Model 3 and Model Y, but there's probably a good chance this color is on its way to all trims at Tesla here soon. I want to talk about the pricing here because there have been so many changes this year, and we did just have a $5,000 increase in the Plaid Model X, which is something I've been waiting for quite a while because there's always been a gap, and it's been, several $1,000s difference between the S and the X, and it's really stuck in that $5,000 range between the S Plaid and the X Plaid, and it makes sense that it's 5 grand more. But really, for most of this year, the Model S and Model X Plaid have been the exact same price. So finally, there's actually a difference here, and it is an increase. And it's going to make more sense when you look at inventory because the Model X has been selling like crazy. As you probably know, the Model X in its base configuration does now qualify for the $7,500 tax credit because it's $79,990. Now you cannot change anything except for the exterior color because all colors are now included, including ultra red. But if you change anything else, you now exceed that price. And a question I get a lot is, what if I buy an inventory model that is marked down? That too will increase the price over that threshold. The MSRP is what matters, not what you bought it for. So you can only change the color of the exterior. You cannot change the number of seats inside. You cannot put a yoke steering wheel on it. You cannot even put the 22-inch wheels on this. You have to get it in this base configuration in any color. in order to qualify for that $7,500. Looking over at the Model Y here, this price is now at $48,990. And just for reference here, $48,990, we are finally now matching the low we had previously. We were at $48,490 this month. I think it was October 5th or so that it dropped to $48,490. So going back up to $48,990, we are back to February of 2021 prices at $48,990. So these are still the best prices that have ever been offered for the long-range Model Y, which is really great. And with the return of the rear-wheel drive Model Y at $43,990, of course, we're matching the last price of that rear-wheel drive in 2021, although not the lowest. And then, of course, the performance Model Y still sitting at $52,490, or the lowest price that has been offered in history. Over on the Model 3, similar situation. All prices are down towards these lows in the last few years, which is great news. Affordability is as good as it's ever been in most cases. Of course, the standard range Model 3 is still slightly higher than its lows, but do keep in mind, it now comes with a completely premium interior. All the options are there, nothing stripped out of this thing, and it obviously has more range, and that LFP battery means you can have all of that range. Taking a quick look here, these are not perfect pictures to look at. However, this is a way to kind of compare the midnight silver metallic that we're used to versus this new stealth gray. These are just the renderings on Tesla's website, so these are not perfect, but they do give you kind of a feel for what kind of a color this is compared to midnight silver metallic. There's a couple of things you can see here. Number one, there's almost this kind of bluish or purplish tint to it because of how this finish is. And if you look like right here in the fender on the Model X, you can really see that difference in what the paint looks like. It's definitely a shinier, glossier finish on the midnight silver metallic as it is compared to this stealth gray. So the stealth gray has a bit of almost like a black in the paint that's absorbing some of that reflection or absorbing some of that light. So it's not reflecting quite as much. So it's definitely a cool new color. And although I have not seen this in person yet, I am excited to see this because at least from what I've seen online, it does look like a pretty cool color. Now, I want to talk about deliveries because there's a lot here. So first and foremost, Tesla, of course, finished Q3 at 435,000 deliveries. And although that is down, we knew this was coming because several lines were shut down for upgrades. So that puts us at a year total of 1.324 million cars have been delivered. And Tesla is still reiterating their 1.8 million deliveries target, which means they will need to deliver 475,000 vehicles this quarter alone, which would be a new record by about just shy of 10,000 vehicles. That really doesn't sound like that crazy compared to the previous high. It's only 2.1% more vehicles delivered, and I am sure that there will be every incentive available necessary to deliver every single one of those 475,921 vehicles. You can be rest assured of that. They are going to do everything they can to hit that number. That would be a 1.8 million vehicle delivery in 2023, which is incredible considering how this has been historically. So definitely continuing to make some incredible progress on deliveries. Looking even more specifically here, looking at inventory at end of Q3 versus today. And this is where things aren't quite adding up necessarily, except for the Model X. But at the end of Q3, we had 500 Model 3s in inventory in North America. We now have 1,124. And the Model Y, we had 260 left in inventory at the end of the quarter. And today, 2,157. This is a pretty big increase. Now, on the Model S and X, things are going fantastic for both of those cars right now. Inventory levels are super low, they remain low, and the Model X is just selling like crazy compared to how it hasn't been selling in recent history. So if we look at this as a percentage here, our inventory is up 118% on the Model 3, 730% on the Model Y. A slight increase of about 15% on the Model S, but down almost 20% in inventory compared to the end of the quarter versus today. Looking at this compared to the previous highs of this year, that starts to paint a much clearer picture of what's happening. So yes, Model 3 is up 120% in inventory. However, it's down from 2,300 Model 3s. The Model Y had 5,300 cars in inventory at the previous high, and the Model S 1100, 2,137 in the Model X. So some pretty incredible progress happening there. And looking at that as a percentage, everything is down 50% or more from the recent highs on inventories. So these price changes that we've been seeing, yes, they have been frustrating in some cases. However, it is working, and that is going to continue to be the case throughout the rest of this year. Tesla is definitely using price as a tool to kind of help manage their inventory. So one more thing to look at here, Tesla did just release this video. It's kind of cool. It is basically their announcement of the Stealth Gray coming to North America. It's a pretty cool clip. Actually, if this was an ad, this would be the ad you would want to watch. It's got pretty cool music, but giving a better, closer look at this Stealth Gray, but it is kind of dark, so you can't really see that color fantastically, but it is a pretty cool video, so check that out if you get the chance. So basically what is happening is inventory is up, yes, compared to the end of the quarter. That's usually pretty normal, but when you look at the bigger picture here, inventory is definitely down, and there is a lot happening at Tesla. Yes, these price changes have been concerning for some investors. They've been concerning for some owners who have lost a lot of equity in their vehicles, myself included. But this is just the nature of it, especially now with these high interest rates. So those pressures are continuing to push down on price. And as we come to the end of the year, there is going to be, in my opinion, an uptick in demand as people try to capitalize on the $7,500 tax credit because of the unknown come January 1st. So there will be some pressure there. However, Tesla has pressure of its own in selling 476,000 vehicles this quarter. And they're going to do everything that they can to sell absolutely every car that they possibly can. I really think that this is going to be like the old days where they're selling each and every vehicle. They're doing anything that they have to do to get every single car and inventory across the entire country in customer hands. So look for a pretty awesome quarter end, and with that, very likely some pretty awesome deals to be had. I would anticipate, especially with the Model 3, there's probably going to be some deals at the end of the year. If the Model Y continues to maintain over 1,000 vehicles in inventory in December, I would probably look to see some deals there as well. So let me know in the comments, what do you think happens next? Do you think that prices are going to come down even more this year? Or do you think it'll be 2024 before prices start to soften up even more? I really appreciate you joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.